Benjamin Hadfield Teach Me to Dive, doing another head-to-head. You love them, so do we. This is the new Suunto OCEAN versus the Garmin Mk3i. Now, the players in this game, we're doing the Mk3i, Mark II, as well as the Suunto OCEAN. The dive today, we're doing a 60-minute run time, 146-foot maximum depth at 44 degrees, 5,000-foot elevation of fresh water. Set these in multi-gas mode, and everything's set to 50, 85 with a final stop at 20 feet. Now, just be aware, this looks a little fast, but we did speed this video up to 300%, so you didn't have to stick with us for a whole 60-minute dive. Overall, the day was a beautiful day for a dive, but we really enjoyed this dive a lot. Now, the players of the game, Suunto OCEAN retailing out at $8.95, the Garmin at $15.99, and the Garmin Mark II still available at $14.99. Now, make sure you stay through the entire video because we will rate both computers in 17 different key and crucial areas that you'll want to know, and definitely we wanted to know as well, and we found the results to be extremely interesting through this whole process. So make sure you stay tuned all the way through and like and subscribe, of course. Now the question is, who's going to win? The specs on these, they are pretty evenly matched when it comes to size and time of battery life as well. They've all got that sapphire crystal, really tough, really durable. We've loved these computers. They have definitely been, they're all about 99 grams, 100 grams, 105 grams in that area. And the battery life for diving, that's important here, is pretty similar. 60 hours on the Suunto, 66 hours on the Garmin Mk3i. And then oddly enough, the Garmin Mark II says it had a lot longer. Now, Suunto OCEAN has up to 5 gases, but it only does versions of nitrox with a 60-meter max. But you can do at least 10 wireless transmitters. Now, the Garmin Mk3i, air, nitrox, trimix, CCR, 1 bottom gas, and up to 11 DECO gases with a maximum operating depth of 100 meters. So that's pretty impressive. If you really want to go tech, we think the Mk3i and the Mark II are definitely better suited for tech diving, and the OCEAN definitely more suited for light tech as well as all recreational dives, and they all do a fantastic job of that. Now, our first challenge was the screen brightness. Can you see this whilst you're diving? And that is a big issue. We've noticed this, and there's a lot of computers out there that are wrist mounted that are tougher to see. And that's kind of, I think, a reasonably important thing to see. Which one won in this one? Overall, we watched this. You can see the video as well. We voted them evenly matched across the board. They both were very clear, very easy to read, very bright. As you can see through this video, very clear and no problem understanding what was I looking at, how much gas did I have, what was my current depth, what was my sack rate as well. The next area we were interested in, screen size. We started looking at these very closely. We challenged them on screen size. The thing is they were all within about a millimeter of each other, and that's a pretty small measurement. So Mk3i versus OCEAN versus Mark II. Overall, which one wins in the screen size? Well, as you kind of see from the video, they're all the same, pretty much screen size. The Suunto is a little bit smaller, very minor, 1 millimeter, but we put them evenly matched on this area as well. Now, one of the things you might notice is we are heading towards that non-decompression limit. The Suunto now has 0 minutes and the Garmin has 2 minutes left. If you aren't trained in technical diving and you don't know what that entails and what it means to break the no decompression limit, you shouldn't be deco diving. Now, make sure you take a class. Take it from a real live human, not YouTube, not Facebook, not your brother down the street, unless he's obviously a certified technical diving instructor. Technical diving is dangerous and it has inherent risks, and if you don't understand them, you shouldn't be doing it as well. Now, one of the things we did notice on the Suunto, it was interesting that as soon as it popped into deco, it immediately said 3 minutes, and then it popped into 4 minutes of deco immediately. Whereas you see on the Garmin, it was really interesting. It gives that count up timer in seconds, and we really like that as well. That it's very super accurate, and it's really easy way to monitor where you're at on your deco obligation, and I really like that a lot. But then again, we really feel that the Suunto is not really designed to be that much of a technical diving computer. It is a fantastic recreational computer, but as a technical computer, not so much. You can also see that we're at 8 minutes of deco already, and the Garmin is just kind of clicking up now at 1 minute. We also noticed that the Suunto was extremely conservative by comparison, utilizing the same gradient factor. Now, looking at these two side by side, doing a technical dive with this and how the Suunto handled it versus the Garmin. The Garmin will do trimix, it'll do CCR, it handles long deco times better. It's just really more in depth and more suited for that long technical dive, that deep technical dive. So overall, it wasn't a hard pass on this one to say which one was the winner. In my opinion, very clearly, the Garmin wins hands down when it comes to being a technical diving computer. It'll do side mount, it'll do all that other stuff. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well, but it's really more suited for that advanced technical diver as well as the recreational diver. But let's talk about recreational diving for just a moment. Now, which one is better for recreational diving? Absolutely, that's a great question. And overall, this is a really tough one to judge because they both did such a fantastic job. The information was well laid out, it was simple, it was overall just easy to get to and work with as well. So our vote on this one is this is a draw. They are both fantastic recreational computers and just do a terrific job in that realm of monitoring your gas, monitoring your depth, monitoring your NDL, monitoring your time, and other cool things like that. So this next category is a really tough one for us because I'm a buy once, cry once kind of guy, and I always want to make sure I get the best features, best value, everything like that. But I'm going to tell you right now, the Suunto Ocean, its price point and its feature set of what you get is fantastic. It has all the same service features and data features that the Garmin does. They both will monitor your heart rate. They'll both monitor your steps and health and all that fun stuff like that. So we're not talking about the data functions and stuff above surface. We're just talking about below the surface, which makes this a really great value. So for $895, you get all those cool service features like the Garmin, but you also get a fantastic feature set that's easy to use. It'll take you into light tech, multiple pods, simple and easy to use, easy to read. So as an NDL and a recreational computer, the price point on this just can't be beat. $895 versus $1599 is kind of hard to pass up, and especially when you start talking that $700 difference and realizing how many technical divers really ever go into trimix or CCR. So clear winner on this, the Suunto. The next area we looked at was GPS, compass, and navigation. Now currently the Suuntos, people say there is a compass coming, but until it's here, it isn't here. But the compass on the Garmin is extraordinary. We really, really love it. It's been super, super accurate. Navigation on the Garmin as well is fantastic as well. It's hard to beat. You can actually plug in and program in your own waypoints as well, utilizing their Explore app. So you can save waypoints, you can program waypoints in, you can figure out your own GPS coordinates and put them in and navigate to those on the surface, and it does a really good job. So as you navigate on the surface, swimming backwards towards a dive site, boom, it'll help you find it. You don't actually have to be pointing towards it. It just has an arrow on the screen that points towards the dive site and changes with you. So it makes it really easy to use. So clear winner, Garmin when it comes to navigation all day long. The next area we always wonder about is how long will the battery last? Will it last a day of diving, 2 days of diving, 3 days? And in this case, we believe firmly that you should be able to get at least a week and a half of diving out of any of these computers. So when it comes down to the challenge of battery life, how long will the battery last? Well, the answer to that is a good long time on either the Suunto or the Garmin, and they're freaking fantastic. So on this one, we've had it as a dead draw, evenly matched. Just can't pick a clear favorite and winner on those two. But that's the good news for you is easily, you're going to get plenty of dive time out of either one of these. Now, one of the things I really love about doing a head-to-head comparison like this, Suunto versus the Garmin, is that you get to see how different computers react and interact and act with the world around them as well. We all know we don't always get to dive with somebody that has the exact same equipment as us, and this is one of the great case studies of that as well. We can see we're at 20 minutes of total DECO time now on the Suunto. So 28 minutes is definitely a longer DECO, especially when you look over at that Garmin and it's got a 17-minute total time to surface. Right now it's saying a 30-foot ceiling with 34 seconds of time to stay at that ceiling, but you know that on top of that, there's probably another 11 or 12 minutes of time at 20 feet as well. But we know that the Suunto runs a very conservative business overall. And we also know that they're on this particular one, they're running the Buhlmann logic with the gradient factors, but right in the manual, it does say that they add their own programming in that as well. And in that own programming, they're definitely adding their own safety factors as well. So it's just something to be aware of, that if you want to run just like your buddies out there as well, you're going to have to run a different gradient factor than what they're doing. It's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive if you're going against one of the Suunto competitors, for example, like a Garmin or something else of other brands that begin with an S, right? So we want to make sure that we take those things into account as we're getting into this. I like it as an NDL computer as well as a recreational computer because I know that if I send a diver out on this from the shop, that they are going to be safe. As long as they follow what it says, they're going to be safe, and I know that there's going to be an additional safety factor in there as well. Our next area of interest was the pods, the air integrated transmitter pods. And this was a super tough one to grade because the Suunto, in our past experience and this experience, the pods are fantastic. They never drop. They definitely work as advertised and do exactly what they're supposed to do. Simple to use, simple to find, simple to pair. But Garmin decided to do something bigger, better, and badder, and they took everything to the next level. They started adding things like communication. They started adding things like the depth of the diver that the pod you're looking at. So if you pair this up with your buddy, you can see how deep they are, where they're at, how much gas they have, things like that. So we had to go with a 6-star for Garmin. It's the first time we've ever given 6 stars to anything because they really did a fantastic job with communication as well as being able to see other cool information for your dive buddy. So the next area that we needed to look at was readability. Can you understand the information and read what you're looking at? Overall, both computers did a terrific job of this. The information was well laid out, was simple to find, and simple to understand overall. We were able to find things like depth, time, gas, DECO stops, anything we needed, we were able to find it very easily on both computers very simply. So we gave them both an even score across the board on this particular area. Now, when it comes to features, the Suunto was no slouch in this area. They did a really nice job of making their information simple, easy to use, as well as give you the features that you need to make sure you're safe. You can see that it's got the 2 arrows to tell you when you're in the DECO range, right? It's got that arch. It's really fantastic. But in our mind, the Garmin really stepped it up, and they are the clear winner in this. They do the CCR, they do trimix, but they also have an ascent and descent meter and surface GF. And then when you add in the communication to the pods, it's hard to say no to the Garmin on this. It really did a fantastic job of adding a lot of extra little niceties that we really wanted. The next thing we wanted to talk about was customization. Now, the Suunto people really believe that this is how the information should read. This is how you should have it. This is where it's going to be. With Garmin, they said, well, we don't really agree with that, and we're going to give you multiple screens, and you can customize those screens however you like. You can put different information. For example, that time up there, that can be changed over to a compass portion. That heart rate can be topped over to the surface GF. So again, for customization, Garmin really stepped it up, and they're really simple and easy to work with on this, and so they're the clear winner in the customization area for us. Now, Sidemount mode. This is definitely a growing section of the sport and becoming more and more important. Now, I'm primarily a side mount diver, but I did this dive in back mount. But it's obvious to me that Suunto really isn't into the side mount arena at all, but obviously Garmin has a pretty good understanding of this. So in terms of side mount mode, Garmin is one of my absolute positive favorites when it comes to side mount mode. You can see both gases simultaneously on the same screen. You can set it up very clearly so you know what's going on with your mode. So in side mount mode, it's very simple. Yes, you can set up multiple pods and you can change gases on the Suunto, but it's really not designed for side mount mode, and it just didn't handle it extremely well. So for us, the clear winner in side mount mode was absolutely the Garmin. One of our questions always with any dive watch that we're going to use is how durable is it? Will it stand the test of time? Will it stand through the tough things we're going to put it through? I can tell you I've dealt with Suunto quite a bit over the years, and they have been fantastically durable. But so has Garmin. I've been with Garmin for about 5 years now, started with the Mark II, went to the Mark III, and I've really punished it really hard. Both of them have done a fantastic job. And while I wouldn't hit them with a hammer, I certainly wouldn't put it past them that they would probably survive a hammer hit as well. So they've done both very well and have been extremely impressed with both. They're tough, they're durable, and easy to work with. Now, when it comes to customer service, this is always a question. How does your customer service rate? Both of these computers have great companies behind them. Suunto, Finnish company, they really work hard to make sure they do a good job. So does Garmin. I've dealt with Garmin personally quite a few times, and they've been extremely generous with us over the years as well. I find their customer service to be terrific on both sides. So I put them at an even score. You can disagree with me if you like. Maybe you've had a different experience, but my overall experience at this point in personal stories that I've heard, they've both been really easy to work with, easy to deal with as well. So in terms of customer service and aftercare, I definitely put them at an even, and I give them both 5 stars on that as well. All right, done. Moment of truth, the scorecard. How did they really stack up against each other? So we put together, and you've seen what we've thought of each one. There's been a lot of ties across the board. There's been a few wins on either side. Here's the scorecard as we see it. The Ocean price point, you cannot beat the price point on this. Recreational use is fan-freaking-tastic. The size of both is terrific. The brightness on the Suunto, the readability, simplicity, the battery life, and usability and durability, we just can't speak highly enough of it. But the Garmin also did very, very well on that. Now, the challenge with the Garmin is, yes, it is a $1,600 computer, $1,599.99, but if you want those other features, if you want trimix, CCR, grading factor for the surface, communication between your divers, as well as being able to see where your divers are and how much gas they have and name those pods, the Garmin is a clear winner on that as well. The GPS features and compass, you can't beat Garmin when it comes to navigating anything. I mean, they do aviation, they do bike racing, they do marathons. I mean, what doesn't Garmin do when it comes to GPS features? They even land planes, I found out the other day, so they actually have autopilot as well. So Garmin is a fantastic company, and their specialty is absolutely navigation and GPS. So I think it's going to be hard for any computer to step up and beat them overall. So if you're looking for a simple computer, it's just simple NDL that'll take you into a little bit of tech, do a really nice job of that. Bright, clear, has a lot of great data features. I think the Ocean is probably your way to go. $895.95 is a simple, easy to use computer that navigation and the compass is supposed to be coming. We'll see. On that, I just don't know. It's got a great recreational use. If you're going to do any type of side mount mode, you want to move over the Garmin. It's definitely where it is at on that. If you want something that's more customizable to what you're doing, the Garmin's going to be your fit for that as well. If you want to be able to communicate with your dive buddy, I dive it with Nikki all the time, and it's nice that in side mount mode, I can see both of her tanks, I can see both of my tanks, and every once in a while, just for fun, I send her a little message, even though we're only 5 to 10 feet apart because we team dive. But overall, these are both really, really great computers, and you need to ask yourself the question, not do I feel lunky punk? That's not the question, obviously. The question is what am I going to use it for? What is my budget going to allow? If I want a fantastic watch that I can go do a lot of cool surface stuff with, that I can go run marathons and it'll track me like that, both of these are fantastic computers. But if I want that extra nicety, if I want those extra features where I can eventually go into CCR or eventually go into trimix, if I'm going to be doing more technical, you need to stick with the Garmin truthfully on that. So if you're going technical, Garmin all the way. If you're just saying simple recreational, Ocean is a great way to go. So what did you think? How did we do? Make sure to leave a note in the comments to let us know whether we did great, whether we did bad. If you disagree with some of our ratings here, please just let us know. Tell us in the comments as well. Make sure to like and share. Check out our other videos. We have a video on just the Suunto, just doing a dive in the Suunto. We have a dive and a video on just the Garmin by itself. We have some other computers out there as well. We've got a ratio computer that we did a full review and full dive on that as well. It did a great job. So make sure you take out those other videos. Again, my name is Benjamin Hadfield. I'm a technical dive instructor and an instructor trainer in diving. Love this kind of stuff. Again, make sure you put this stuff in the comments. Final thoughts on these. I also found the Suunto to be very conservative, so I have no problem sending my newer divers out with this, because even if I set mine to 5085 on my Garmin and I set somebody up on the Suunto to 5085, I know that they're going to be a little safer because they're going to hit DECO a little sooner than I will, and they're going to be in DECO longer than I will as well. You can see right now, as we kind of look at the screen, the Garmin has been clear for a while. He's just like, well, we'll just hang out here for a while. We still have 3 more minutes. In fact, if you go back in the video and go back in time just a little bit, you'll see that the Garmin cleared at about 11 or 12 minutes before the Suunto. So that's a fairly significant amount, but we also punished the poor little Suunto, and we took it to 29 minutes at DECO. Wasn't happy with that. It really wasn't designed for that as well. This was a great dive. We had a lot of fun with this. I did have a little challenge. So what ended up happening with this at the beginning, we started down and we did about a minute dive to start with. And then I came back up. I had to fix the camera. So that's why the time is off a little bit as well. So just be aware the time was off by a minute or so, just because we had to pop back up and do a quick change on things. And the end dive timer didn't fix. Now, we're on safety stop, and I like that the Suunto always does a safety stop. The Garmin doesn't always do one. It depends on the dive and how long you've been in DECO and what you've done and how you did your DECO as well. The Garmin does do a fantastic safety stop as well, so I really love that as well. And then we're back into NDL mode. You can see on the Suunto that we're back in NDL mode. We've got 99 minutes of DECO or non-decompression limit as well. Now again, we violated this intentionally a day prior to this head-to-head video, so that's why the Suunto has got that as well. Again, Benjamin Hadfield, teach me to dive. Make sure to like and subscribe and share with all your friends, family, and anybody else that'll listen.